Hello, Mr. John. This is for my Unit 3 test. I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. The first one I messed up on was number 2, which you have f of x, 3x to the 4th plus 7x to the 3rd minus 6x squared. We're looking for describing what it's doing. It's rising to the left and rising to the right because the degree of polynomial is even and the leading coefficient is positive. So we got a positive leading coefficient and an even degree polynomial. So they're both rising, one to the left, one to the right. That was for A. This is B, which B, you basically take this and we're going to factor out an x squared 3x squared plus 7x minus 6 and factor this. We got x squared 3x minus 2 and x plus 3. So our zeros, x squared, that equals 0. We got 3x minus 2 equals 0. So add 2, 3x equals 2, divide by 3, x equals 2 over 3, and x plus 3 equals 0, and minus 3, x equals negative 3, and those are our 3 zeros. 0, which 0 touches and turns because it's a zero of even multiplicity. So 0 to the second, it's an even multiplicity, so it touches and turns. And turn. And then we got 2 over 3, which crosses through because it is an odd multiplicity. So crosses x axis. And then we have negative 3, which crosses through because it is an odd multiplicity. So crosses x axis, and that is number 2. Now I should have had a rag right here. Moving on, I missed part B of number 3, which should have been the remainder theorem, which if f of x is divided by x minus c, the remainder is f of c, which you wrote down for our notes. F of x equals x minus c times the quotient equals the remainder, which f of c, c minus c, times the value equals the remainder, which f of x equals the remainder. Which an example of that would be to say f of x equals 10 and f of c equals 4. So if we say right here 10 minus 4 equals 6, right, which would give us our remainder. And then if you take 6 and divide, or 10 divided by 6, 1 with a remainder of 4. So your leftover, your remainder is what you have. Okay, next was number 4. Which we had 3x to the third minus 4x plus 6 divided by x minus 1. Okay, and I know where I messed up. I synthesized divide, but I didn't have the x squared in there, and I didn't even think about it. So what we're gonna do is this is plus 1. That's plus 1. Okay, so to synthetic divide, we need that 0, so we're going to take -1, and we're going to take the leading coefficients. So we've got 3, we're missing the x squared, so that'll be 0, and then we have a -4, and we have a 6. Yep. Okay, we're going to bring down the 3. -1 times 3 is -3. 0 plus -3 is -3. -1 times -3 is a +3. -4 plus 3 is a -1. -1 times a -1 is a 1. And 6 plus 1 is a 7. Okay, which to turn it back into our polynomial, we'll have 3, and this is x3, so we're bringing it down 1, so that's x squared minus 3x minus 1 plus 7 over the quotient x plus 1. And that is the answer. And then the second part of that was B. I can do that over here. We had 2x minus 5, 6 divided by 6x cubed minus 7x squared minus 24x plus 17. Make that a little longer. And the first thing we're going to do is try to get rid of this 6x cubed. So over here, what times 2x is going to give us 6x cubed? We're going to put a 3x squared. 3x squared times 2x is going to give us a 6x cubed. 3x squared times a negative 5 will give us a negative 15x squared. Yep, minus 7 squared. So cross out. Minus 7x minus 15x will give us 8x squared. We bring down the 24x. And then we're trying to get rid of the 8x squared. So what do we got to times this by to get this? That's going to give us a 4. Yeah, 4x. So 4x times 2x will give us 8x squared. 4x times negative 5 gives us a negative 20x. We work that out. We've got negative 4, negative 4x. What times 2x is going to give us a negative 4x? Negative 2. Negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4x. Negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10, and we work this out to a remainder of 7. So we're going to have to add 7 over the quotient 2x minus 5. And that's my answer. Okay, moving on to number 5. We had the graph. Number 5, f of x equals negative 3x to the third plus 6x squared minus 3x. First, we're going to look at the end behavior. The end behavior is rising left and falling to the right, because an odd degree and a negative leading coefficient. So that's why it rises to the left and falls to the right. The next thing we're going to do is find our zeros. So if we just take and factor out that negative 3, we factor out the negative 3, we're left over, 3x, I'm sorry. Factor out a 3x, and you're left over with x squared minus 2x plus 1. And to factor this, we have 3x, x minus 1, x minus 1. So we set these to equal 0, 3x equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. Divide this by 3, x equals 0, and add 1, x equals 1. Now 1 is a multiplicity of 2 because we have 2 of them. So we have a multi 2. And those are our zeros. 0 and 1 multi 2 are our zeros. Yeah, because we have 2 of these. Okay, and now we're going to find the y-intercept. And to find the y-intercept, we're going to make x0, which is -3, 0 to the third, plus 6, 0 to the second, minus 3, 0, which all equals 0. So we know one of our points is on the y-intercept at 0, and x is at 0 too. So we have a 0, 0 on the graph. Okay? Now we need to find a few more points. X, y, we get -1, 1/2, and 2. So trying to leave room over there to graph. Let's do the -1. So we'll do -3 times -1 to the third plus 6 times -1 to the second minus 3 times -1, which this brings us down to 3 plus 6 plus 3 equals 12. So we know -y equals 12. Okay, we have 1/2, which is -3 times 1/2 to the third plus 6 1/2 squared minus 3 times 1/2. And we come up with -3/8 plus 3/2 minus 3/2 equals -3/8. So -3/8 is our y at 1/2, and then we have 2, which -3, 2 to the third, plus 6, 2 to the second, minus 3 times 2, which equals oh, I got stuff falling down, plus 24 minus 6 equals -6. So on our graph, try to draw this as good as I can. 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. We're going way up. 12, going real hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So we have our points -1 and 12. Right up here. We have our point 1/2 and -3/8. So -1/2, -3/8,
say roughly right there. We have our 0, 0. And we have our 2, -6. Okay, our graph, we know at the 0, 0 it crosses, so it comes down, it crosses the 0, 0,